Call the Common Council meeting to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Iverson.
Here.
Schatzinger.
Here.
Here.
Gernert.
Here.
Gotsky.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
Witt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance to the flag with liberty and justice for all.
Lord Jesus, we thank you for the opportunity to serve our amazing city, believing that the best years come. But Lord, as they take on the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of us, that Lord, we believe the best is yet to come. We praise your glorious name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. At this time, we'll be seeking approval to approve tonight's, or a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the change that item 11 will just be a standard adjournment, not adjournment to closed session.
Motion to approve with the amendment.
Second.
And moved by Howard, second by Jolene. Any discussion? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Now it is time for public comment. This is the opportunity for citizens to come before the council with comments and concerns on any action may be taken tonight. I ask that you keep it civil and respectful and within 5 minutes. However, discussion of personnel or individual members of the Common Council shall not be permitted. I expect the council to treat the citizens with the same respect. Before you begin, please state your full name and address for the record. First, we have Troy Farrell.
Good evening. My name is Troy Farrell, and I own Farrell's Fine Furnishings, and I'm the owner of 214, 218, 220 Watson Street. I appreciate the common sense approach that the city administration is proposing for the sidewalk encroachment revision. I'm a proud owner of a business that is such a unique downtown that people from all over the state and other states are always ranting and raving about our downtown. As you look downtown, you see such a unique display that the stores and restaurants makes Ripon charming, and for years other cities in the U.S. and overseas have displayed their wares and have had cafes in front of their stores. Just to give you some perspective on how important this matter, and 2/3 the width of my store. Not to mention in previous years I have done 20,000 in the same space in that same item. I will encourage all the Common Council to approve this ordinance revision.
No? Yeah. Come on.
I'm not expecting to.
Oh, were you not into, all right.
That was it. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right.
I vote yes, the merit badge.
Second.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Mike Dudzinski, N7911 Union Street. I just have a few questions. Why is the new local designation of the Little White Schoolhouse not on the agenda tonight? Regulatory board, because I'm pretty sure it's said to be an advisory board. Is it locally designated or not? That's really the question. I mean, because they're not seeming to follow the rule, it would have had to come to the council to be voted on. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was the last of the public comment sign up. Informal reports from standing committees and staff. Is there a motion to approve as published?
So moved.
Second. Been moved by David, seconded by John. Any discussion?
Report for June. I have a couple questions.
All right. We could discuss that now, or we could vote on the rest.
Vote on the rest and we'll discuss that.
Very good. All right, so we are looking at any discussion on items 1 through 10?
Oh, quickly, before it slips away, I'd like to mention that written for kind of accommodation for the council for their work on a reckless death with drug overdose and their work with the court.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion on items 1 through 10? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving items 1 through 10 on the informal report? Those are approved. Doug?
Yeah, just on the financial report, I have a question on the city of Appleton. 623, oh wait, those were on 623, it's June 2nd, it was $669. Is that just their?
Weights and measures.
That's what I thought it was, okay. Also, Village of Brandon, 621, it was for, I think here, $1,100. It says multiple. Do you know what that was for?
It's a PD.
Sorry, it's what?
It's a PD expenditure, correct, Bill?
We, thank you, Chris. The Village of Brandon disbanded their police department, and as part of that, they had some equipment that they had for sale. Some of that stuff was body camera equipment, and we got a very good price on that to purchase it directly from them. They had just purchased it previous to that, and it cost quite a bit more than what we purchased from them for it. So we were able to get extra. That was part of it. And then we purchased a couple other things from them as well. So body cameras, I think there was some ammunition, and a couple other things, I think. Radars, maybe.
Okay, and then one last one. I think I know what this one's for. Is Short Elliott Hendrickson. It says $25,827. Is that for DPW?
Second?
I will second.
And moved by Doug, seconded by David. Any discussion on item 11?
I
Jolene?
guess for the public to know, so a number of them they put multiple under the invoice number.
Updated report here. So there was multiple checks written that have V by it now that were voided out. So there was an error in the check registry. So we submitted that, so that this is the updated version on your table. So there's
Under the invoice number, it is into multiple accounts. I don't know why that doesn't specifically keep the invoice number, because there's one invoice number for each one. But my guess is it's going to be for multiple invoices. Because we do quite a few, like from Royalty, Modern Rentals.
yeah, so certain things get pulled from different accounts. So some might come, a portion of a bill may come from general fund, water, wastewater, whatever else.
Which
all-
one? Yeah.
You can see next to it, like the invoice number, like 10 is general fund, 61 is water or sewer. So, yeah, sewer, and then 60.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the financial report for June, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Next is the consent calendar. The only item there is common council minutes from the 2 meetings in June. Is there a motion to approve as published?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved by Ellen, seconded by Jonathan. Any discussion there? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. That's resolution authorizing the sale of city property. This would be for a very small strip of land next to the Ripon College Stadium, where their pathway is. This would put the entire pathway on their property. The sale would be registered for $1. They essentially have been maintaining it for years anyhow. This would just make it official that it is theirs. Ellen?
I move that we accept the resolution authorizing the sale of city property to Ripon College for $1.
Second.
Been moved by Ellen, seconded by Howard. Any discussion? David?
Just to be clear, the other valuable considerations is them paying all expenses for this change, correct?
Yes, so at this point in time, Ripon College has paid for the survey to parcel this off into an outlot to then transfer the property. They have taken that, creating the deed, which they will draft. This was presented to Plan Commission as well. They paid to have that all done and reviewed and approved. So to get this corrected.
Okay.
We had not known this was an issue until the stadium project started, and we requested that as part of everything, they clean this up at you know, the vast the path in the future, as well as there's a small easement down there for a storm sewer pipe that was recorded as well. So they've done all of that work for us.
Good question.
Almost is operating as if Ripon College almost already did own it in the sense of how, I mean, right, I mean, it's in a property, it's in an area. It makes sense, I guess. You would agree. It makes sense. There's not a reason for the city.
Treated it that way all
Yeah.
along. Nothing changes at
Right.
this point. The only thing that could change is if they realize it's on our property and something happens.
This is a very good thing.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, could we get a roll call vote
Iverson,
Yes.
of at-grade rail crossings on multiple public streets within the city of Ripon? Adam, you want to start this one?
so I believe it was last month I supplied you a letter to, that went out to Watt in the city of Ripon due to deteriorating and unsafe conditions at the crossings. We requested a response be provided to us by July 1st. We have not received in which a city or village or town uses or county uses to compel and enforce rail maintenance is spelled out in section 86.12 of the state statutes. It requires a resolution be passed by the Common Council following crossings, 2 of them at Oshkosh Street, 1 at Fenton, Scott Street, East Jackson Street, Hall Street, East and East Sullivan Street. So basically every crossing except this is the first step. The second step after this is we serve the rail company, Watco, with this and give them 30 days to respond. And after that, the public Commissioner of Railroads for further investigation and further trying to compel them to address these crossings. In conversations with them, you know, they had said they intended to improve them. They have not responded and have not committed to doing anything. So this is the process that we must take and in trying to get these crossings addressed. They are not the city of Ripon's responsibility. As the statute says, it's the rail and then 4 feet out. So we have talked to them as well as saying if there's an issue with one that you need city participation in, it's really on them to maintain these. And as we get complaints and whatnot, this is the process, and this is what we're recommending as staff be moved on.
I move we accept the resolution petitioning for the alteration of at-grade rail crossings on multiple public streets within the city of Ripon.
Second.
Hearing none, roll call vote again, please.
Iverson,
Yes.
Schatzinger,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Gallows,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Gotsky.
Yes.
Moving on, we can discuss the next 2 items together, but we will take votes and motions separately. First one is the ordinance to amend Sidewalk Cafe. So these are fairly linked together. Sidewalk Cafe, one pertains only to sidewalk cafes. It would be the addition of bullet point E sidewalk cafes shall, as well as some more defined language at the very beginning of section D as to what items are allowed on the sidewalk. Those are the two changes. If anyone would like to.
Was the fact that we were going to see how it went and come back and readdress it. At that time, we had discussed a dimension, but it was never acted upon. I'm the one that asked to have this brought back through because things got moved around. So that's why I brought it back. I think the 5-foot and 3-foot dimensions are more than fair for the businesses and for the pedestrians.
Move that we amend the ordinance to, let me try to say this correctly. Let me use my words. I move that 040 of the municipal code of the city of Ripon, Wisconsin, to add paragraph E. Lud, may I combine both?
Is there a second to her motion?
I'll second it.
Moved by Ellen, seconded by Howard. Any discussion on the sidewalk cafe ordinance adjustment? Julie?
My understanding is that 3 feet. Talking with downtown business owners and folks, I think that they are in favor of this. I think that this helps make it clear for our police. As here, he's shaking his head right now. And the only thing I would just add is that we do have, obviously our downtown director, Craig, here. I know that he has sent out to welcome him to see sort of his feedback on this, being that he sort of represents who this would affect.
Well, I'll start, and he can add to it if he likes, because I did have conversations with several of the business owners who the intent. Everyone I talked to is completely happy with what we're proposing. It was just misunderstandings of what we were talking about at the last meeting that raised concern.
Okay. Maybe a question. I don't mean to debate semantics. So it's one question for this, and then the other question combines. Let's ask this one first. The 3 feet, never less than 3 feet. Semantics.
Clearance. I mean, the word clearance is.
And
I get the intent.
I believe the unobstructed would solve that problem, because if there's a tree in the middle of the 3 feet, that's an obstruction.
Okay.
Question, but I think the intent is very clear of open and unobstructed sidewalk, and the goal here is to make a passageway. That's the whole key, to make sure that you can pass through without.
Any further questions? All right, the motion is to approve the.
Split.
Yes.
Sorensen.
Yes.
Skotsky.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
Gallops.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Schatzinger.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Published in the packet.
A second.
Been moved by Ellen, seconded by Jonathan. Any discussion on that one? David?
Question regarding the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It sounds like everybody has to bring everything in.
That is how it is worded, and how it was originally written. That part has not been changed.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't believe there has ever been enforcement on that clause.
But it says in here, which do not extend more than 3 feet. So if you're under that 3 foot, like Troy's chairs are, you shouldn't have to worry about bringing those in. That would be my understanding of the way I read this, correct, Lud?
That's correct.
All right. So that 3 feet from the building out is your safety zone as a business. That you would not have to pull everything in every night. If you're going outside that, then it would fall under those guidelines.
Right, and we've gone around in the property ends.
Yes.
And where the public sidewalk extends. And if we went and surveyed every one of these properties, some of them
It would
do
be
have
less than
stoops that carry forward, and so the 3 feet
Base of the brick is the lot line.
is the lot line. Okay. I know that there are others that do not fall under that.
So I have one other thing. It says till 8 p.m. Now, there are times There are times when there's activities downtown that extend past that time period.
And I think that last clause
We can
gives
allow
us that
that
flexibility, any
flexibility,
special
yep.
events
I just wanted to
requiring any
bring that up,
further
so-
use of a place, and the police department would recognize that there's a special occasion
Yep.
taking place in the city that would allow one to keep them out there longer.
I just want somebody calling me saying, hey,
Yeah,
it's
it's
extra.
3 times before. I kept trying to
No, I
look for loopholes there, so.
I read that, but somebody who just grazes through it quick would say,
Yeah.
it's at
Where
6
is the
PM, you know,
sex
it's,
Right.
and so.
We're not going to have the chair play. I like to sit in Troy's chairs in the evening.
That's, just make sure your feet don't stick out fast.
I get tired. I got to sit in your chair, man. I don't want that to go anywhere.
Any further discussion on this one? Hearing none, the motion is to amend published language. We have roll call vote there.
Gotsky.
Yes.
Sorensen.
Yes.
Split.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Schatzinger.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Alice.
Habilitation.
Adam. So on your tables, I had a staff report regarding the proposals for engineering services for the water tower coating rehabilitation project. A couple pictures of the water tower that is out on Buyer Road and Stanton Street. The coating exterior is failing. You're noticing it fail a little rapidly. The red ribbon is starting to sort of peel or rust or show age. The water tower is approximately 20 years old and was constructed by Alliant Energy. So there's some lacking information about the past, but ultimately we now own it, and it is ensure that the tower stays in fine operating order. Coatings generally last, 20, 25 years, so should be done. So we were probably at this conversation at some point. The condition is just pushing us forward probably a little faster than we had originally. By the time it's said and done, could be more. We don't know. We bid it out, but we want to get this done in 2024. So to get the best on this. So we did take a step back and go through the process to receive RFPs for engineering services. We did receive, and our lead water operator for the water department sat down, reviewed everything, scored them, and ranked them with a recommendation to accept the proposal from SEH. $1,000 of that is design of the project, so design and engineering. And then there's about a $30,000 observation and inspection component, okay? So is getting applied appropriately by the contractor, okay? So the overall scope here from SEH, the most comprehensive from a technical standpoint, their understanding of our tower in that they have done the inspections in the past. Regularly, as well as just their general understanding of projects of this scope and coding systems. So our recommendation, this likely delays some other projects that we would like to continue on with, including the well. We'll probably push some of that work off to a point where we have a lengthy proposal. You can certainly try to read through it all. Some of it is just fluff, others is pretty technical. But overall, that is our recommendation.
That they'll work with the services to coordinate removal of city-county equipment. Those are communication systems. Are we no longer
for the duration of this project?
So then would they go back on the water
They
tower?
would generally go back, yes.
Because that site was chosen, the chief could speak to it. It was the project I did. So, is that right, chief?
Yeah, Ed, I know I did have a discussion with the Fowler County Communications Director. She's aware of the project, and she's in good contact if she hasn't already with.
Project, we can't just, it has to come off for the duration of the project. So we will relocate them and/or have to put up a temporary tower.
Questions?
I haven't had exactly a lot of time to actually go through this entire proposal.
Yep.
Is this going to be an internal?
I believe the overall intention of the project is to do an exterior coating, an interior coating, as well as a review of all and things of that nature, as well as adding a mixing system to prevent freezing. So we're kind of throwing a lot of different things into the overall project scope, but the concept of it.
And then I don't believe that is the same logo that we have on the other tower in Ripon.
Oh, you're
Are we
going
going
for
to
the
modify it?
Oh, boy. You're public a little bit on what goes there, right?
Okay.
From an overall cost perspective, paint costs paint, right? You pay for it there today. Now's the time to obviously do it because we won't be doing it again for 20 years. So we will have that conversation. That's immediately water towers across Wisconsin that are unique. And it can become a good symbol for the community. So we will engage that and discuss that as the design moves forward. I would think. So.
And considering that water tower is a beacon for the EAA as planes come that direction, it'd be a good thing to do something unique and different.
So there's a whole process, so we'll get through it.
So, but as a follow-up to that, my understanding is that those proposals will come in the future.
Process will go through what are we putting on it, and that's not a decision that I'm just going to make or Jeremy's going to make. This is something that we can, like I said, become an identity. Something maybe unique. If not, there's obviously the other tower has the more modern Ripon logo on it that was done in 2009 or so. So we can certainly, we will discuss it. It will come back in some way, shape, or form during the design component to discuss that with you all and engage whoever we can do a contest. We got to.
For me is, this seems like a good chunk of money, to not necessarily complete the project, just to make sure it's completed well. But here's the thing, they act as our advocates, right? I mean, and this is of extreme importance that we have safe drinking water. So what we are approving is, right, they are the whole entire sort of project management. If people had questions as why are we spending this amount of money for someone to oversee covering, you can see why that's important, right?
Yeah, I mean, an SEH does the inspections and everything in-house, and that's the primary cost, but they have engineers and people that are in welding, on-staff engineers that specialize just in this. This is what they do for a living. They rebuild, construct, and maintain water towers. This is engineering. The half of it, part of it, the thing we have to do as well is we have to submit engineering plans to the DNR. We can't just go do a project of this magnitude without their approval. So they make sure that we are following all of the DNR regulations, making sure that the coding system is proper. Everything from the proper mix to the proper mix, whatever. There's a whole technical approach to this that is well beyond what I understand that they essentially are paid to do, and we provide feedback. But ultimately, they are a liaison between the city and the DNR, and the city and the contractor. ensuring that things get done right.
Thanks.
Doug?
What's the timetable for the study and then for the actual project?
There's no, in my communications with SEH, we want to get rolling on this ASAP. So if it's approved tonight, we would work with them to get a schedule firmed up and get this bid out late this year, if not very early. That we want to bid on it because there are in this field, like any field, good contractors and bad contractors. You do not want a bad contractor painting your water tower.
Right, then I have,
So the sooner the better.
I have one other question. Not this water tower, but does the other water tower have a grid B stir thing in it?
It does not. The other water tower was rehabilitated in 2009. So at a 20 to 25 year lifespan of a coating, you can just do the math and understand where we will be in a
Another
few years
decade.
with that tower. So that one is, we met with, staff met to review all this. Dave would not let us leave the meeting, our lead water operator, without saying, remember, 2009 was the last time we did that water tower on Thomas Street, so please be ready.
Thank you.
Yep. Kurt?
And are we going to have water delivery impacts for firefighting purposes, community drinking, etc. during this to mitigate that?
Yep, so, there are ways to mitigate that with, like creating pressure zones and or running your system, meaning running your wells. So essentially the wells turn on, a signal in the water tower fills it up. It signals the wells to shut off when it's full, right? And to keep pressure in the system. The beauty of our system is we have 2 water reservoirs. So while this one is down, that one, the Thomas Street, will still be full. We also have booster stations at all of our wells that can operate and put pressure into the system. Certainly in a 5-alarm fire situation, there may be some struggle in keeping up with demand with a water tower down. But there are solutions that if we need to put in place, like temporary water tanks that go into the system or pressure zones, things like that, we can implement. This tower has been down in the past, so with no issue or service interruptions. So from the standpoint of being able to continue to provide the service with this project, there's no real concern there. In any event though, like a massive fire, you're gonna have a concern even if it's up, possibly. So overall, we've weathered that storm in the past. When it's down, we fixed a thing in it last year, had to take it down, inspection in 2020. It's not uncommon to take it down and offline, and we continue to operate.
Okay.
This will just be a longer period of time.
They offer to do a funding review. Is that something we're looking at in the future since it's not on here now, or do you just not feel it's worth them?
We can fund these things, and we will have that conversation. In terms of overall prioritization in the projects we're doing, some of the funding that we'd be looking at is probably better suited, in an overall project scope of this size, we would likely, take out water revenue debt as part of a rate case and increase. Getting a small 10-year, $750,000, a 10-year note and pay it off over 10 years. That's how we would generally fund this project. We don't automatically qualify for a grant like this, and they certainly aren't going to fund somebody's super cool water tower painting. They're not going to do that. So, I think there's, we'll review it with SEA if there's anything we can apply for. But in terms of timing and whatnot to get this done, we'll make that call if there's a program that makes sense to apply for. But all signs are saying, probably not. So.
Okay.
Any further discussion or motions?
I will make a motion to approve SEH for a cost not to exceed $63,100 to do the services for the water tower coating rehab.
We'll second that.
Moved by David, seconded by Doug. Hearing none. Supposed to do another roll call vote.
Why stop? We're on a roll.
Hanson.
Yes.
Gallus.
Yes.
Gernert.
Yes.
Gatsky.
Yes.
Sorensen.
Yes.
Flit.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Very good. All right. Let's go around the room. Utility? No. Police? No. City clerk?
Just a little reminder to the board, everybody, and on July 18th at 6:30 at the county, they're going to go over Robert's Rules of Orders, open meeting law, just going to kind of review everything, so I would encourage each and every one of you to take an opportunity to stop by and participate in that, because I think it would be very enlightening. I plan on being there.
All right, Adam?
You had my report. Community Development Authority, so we'll talk a little bit about that, as well as week for council to review. Other than that, our projects at State Street and the Murray Park Trail and Tigard Street. Contractors to schedule pre-construction meetings and get all the permitting for it as well. I'll note also that Noreen Johnson did submit her resignation as Senior Center Director, so thank you to Noreen. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Adam? No? All right. No appointments tonight. Hopefully I have at least one or two for the next meeting. Otherwise, don't get too hot in this weather and just dry, careful with fires. Hopefully we get some rain sometime soon. Future agenda items or comments from council members? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by David, second